Hello everyone, I decided to do this video today where I respond to your comments on my most recent video, Attack on Titan's ending is not bad. A lot of you actually made some really good comments. Some of you, I just want to talk about some of these comments, to be honest, because they make me laugh. But I actually want to get down into some of these comments because you guys brought up some things that I actually didn't bring up in said video itself. So yeah, let's go ahead and just get right into it. So I first want to bring up this comment. I just find it funny. Rosin says, I would love to have a taste of that bottle of copium you're drinking. Okay, listen. When somebody likes something you don't, that doesn't mean I'm drinking a bottle of copium. What that actually means is there's just a differing opinion. There's nothing really wrong with that. And I actually implore you all to disagree with me. Like here, critical observation says he honestly disliked the ending, and that's perfectly fine. But when you actually go into how I'm drinking a bottle of copium, like I'm trying to put my head in the sand and cover my ears and eyes, so just go la 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 la, so I don't hear any other differing opinion. That's kind of ridiculous, and it really shows that you're not really here to have a conversation or discussion anyways.
All right, now get your head in the hole.
Dad, this is stupid.
Stanley, there's no time for your immaturity. Do it!
Though, the first really good comment I want to bring up is Lewis K. says, not going to mention Ymir's Stockholm Syndrome. That was bad in my opinion. That is actually one of the things that I missed, and there were some things that I intentionally left out, but this one was actually one I was going to talk about. And I think that the whole Ymir in love with King Fritz thing, you know, after realizing it's Stockholm Syndrome, I am more inclined to be okay with that. But at the very same time, it's not good either the way it's executed. Now, this falls into the same category as some other issues that I've had with not necessarily ending, but this last part of Attack on Titan that hasn't been adapted to anime yet, where things like the Beast Titan that Falco has, being able to fly, stuff like that, where it just comes out of nowhere and it doesn't really make much sense, and it isn't, I would say, rushed. And that's what Ymir's Stockholm Syndrome feels like. I didn't even realize she really had Stockholm Syndrome until somebody brought it up in my comments, because I was just confused, like most people, when they read those chapters and they're like, well, why in the hell does Ymir still love King Fritz? I mean, King Fritz treated her, like crap. I don't want to misgender somebody. It's just one of those things that's poorly executed. There's nothing really more to it. I don't think it's a bad thing, that it's categorically bad, like Ymir having Stockholm Syndrome should have never been implemented. I think that's a really cool thing they try to do there. It was a little bit too subtle, a little bit too rushed for my taste, but I do think it's a great idea, much in the same way that I think Falco's Beast Titan is a good idea, but poorly executed. Project Amina has a really good comment. Says, Jaegerists here who did not hate the ending, so that narrative all needs to die. Maybe you should do a video on that, and I guess I'm addressing it here. I am sorry if that came off in my video, by the way. I wasn't really trying to say it was, you know, Jaegerist or Alliance supporters that were causing a lot of issues. More to the fact that there are a certain sect of fandoms in general, especially in the AOT fandom, that go out of their way to make life hard on others. And I think we all can agree with that, but continuing on, I have discussed the ending with tons of people, both Jaegerists and Alliance supporters alike, and pretty evenly split for both sides to have people hating the ending. The people who hate the ending are people on all sides who are literally upset that things didn't end exactly as they wanted. Eren, in the short term, accomplished exactly what he wished. Finally confessed his true feelings to Armin and about Mikasa, and even though it came at the cost of much innocent life, killed most of those responsible for the oppression and tyranny against those of Paradis and Eldians as a whole. Additionally, unlike the CG with its Zero Requiem ending, I have not seen that, by the way, or I haven't read that, so if I should read that, if you guys want a video on that, please put in the comments below. I'd love to get to it. I didn't paint his plan in a way where it was like, and then the fairy dust unicorns, all the world's problems were solved, aka Isayama gave us a realistic ending to such a story centered around conflict and the human condition. AOT is forever goated. This is pretty much exactly what I was trying to get with my comments. I think Project Omina maybe said it a little bit more eloquently than I did. Isayama gave us the most realistic ending possible, and while the ending was rushed in aspects I have and have not talked about quite yet, it's realistic, and you kind of have to respect that he wanted to give us a ending that made sense. Try to, see things as more of a realistic, grounded perspective rather than, oh, this is a story about fantastical creatures, whatever, titans, and we're going to end the story with, something you see out of a Disney film. It's not going to go that way. I don't think it needs to go that way. And this ending was pretty solid for me, and I think Project Omina here just pretty much said it perfectly. And I think what you see with the outrage, I think there's a lot of people that are just kind of mad that things didn't go their way in the short term, and in the long term, I think people are going to really enjoy this ending from that camp. I think most people just in general are going to love this ending, are going to think this is a good ending. But I think the people in the fandom, like I said in my video, the people that are reading month to month, the people that are reading month to month over and over, going back and really immersing themselves and getting super into it, super tunnel visioned into it. We all do it sometimes. And those people that just really wanted a different ending based off their own expectations, and I think those people are going to end up enjoying it too down the road after everyone calms down and stuff and the dust settles. Because it's still, we're like, what? We're half a year after the ending of AOT. Like, I literally just got to the ending, and now I'm just inundating myself with all this stuff. So I think what we're already seeing, especially based off these comments, is that that's already kind of happening. So we'll see. Just for a second, I want to point out I have a merch store. We are selling the Ara little dude, my little avatar. We're selling him on a t-shirt for just $15.99. But as well, we have a die-cut sticker. So if you want to get a sticker, or hey, maybe you want a stainless water bottle, look at this sucker. There's nothing on the back, doesn't matter. You still get him. He says Ara Ara. But as well, this mug, so you can show off to all your friends while you're drinking coffee, getting anxiety attacks about how much you're Ara-ing. It's great. Back to the video. Nomad Quinn here brings up a really good comment, and I kind of went over it earlier. He says that, I believe the anime will improve on the manga ending, flesh things out, change, expand some dialogue, etc. I don't think it's perfect, and I'm sure there will always be people who don't like the ending no matter what, and that is true. But I think the anime will change some people's minds, and the reception will be overwhelmingly positive. And this is generally what I agree with. I think what people don't realize when they're, in the manga fandom, and they think that the anime is going to just be shit and all the anime people are going to hate it, I don't think that's going to be the case at all, because I think we've seen with the anime already is that they're willing to change things to make things better, and we of course know Isayama's history about how he's working hand in hand with many things in the anime adaptation, and even changing some things. So I think what we're really going to see addressed in the anime is things like the ending feeling a little bit too rushed. We're going to see the Ymir thing probably addressed. For sure, the Falco and Beast Titan thing. That's going to be way better than it was in the actual anime itself. And generally, I just think we're going to see a lot more of time given to things that were a little weak before in the manga. Just like how everything we've kind of seen adapted from the manga to anime before. There are just some things that are given more time, given more detail, and I think that's going to make the ending already even more good than it already is. Now, I know that me saying that, people are not going to agree with that, but just give it time. Be open-minded about it, and when the anime comes out, watch the last season. I'm not gonna say you're gonna agree with me, but I think you'll see where I'm coming from when you actually, get it right in front of you and actually can watch it. This comment's pretty interesting. Sorry, I can't pronounce your name, so I apologize, but they say, I think the biggest criticism no one talks about is how it turns out the reason Eren did the rumbling is because he was merely a slave to his future self. That reasoning is a bit shallow to me. I guess to each their own. For me, that's not really necessarily shallow. That's just time traveling mechanics. I I don't think that makes that shallow inherently. I think at that point, it's just up to interpretation. Because time travel just... I mean, it's not really time travel, right? But it has some of those similar mechanics. And I think that in of itself makes it just really complicated to understand sometimes. And for me, that's not really a shallow reasoning. I guess for me, I really like that. I thought that was really cool because, you know, you never expect these kind of time travel-ish elements to be in AOT. So I really enjoyed that. He then goes on to say the other issue is how the last few chapters showed us how the Alliance were willing to sacrifice themselves and were saying their goodbyes, but in the end, they are all safe and get reunited with their loved ones. That kind of cheapens the earlier chapters. Then there is all the Ymir stuff that is fairly obvious. Yes, we've talked about the Ymir stuff, but I found this stuff in the middle here pretty interesting, something we haven't talked about. I disagree with this because the sacrifices, you know, they still mean something. And just because they said their goodbyes and they all didn't die at the very end, I don't think that cheapens it at all. I think that's realistic. I mean, think about this. If you're going into a war, this final big battle to end the Titans, would you not want to tell people that you love them? Would you not want to tell people their goodbyes? Just in case, you know? Just in case. Doesn't mean you are going to die. Doesn't mean that every single person that goes off to war never comes back, right? But just in case, you want to tell them. And so, that's my point of view on that. I've seen this pop up so many times. Oscar Ray says, only problem was that the ending was similar to Code Geass, so a part of me is respecting how good it truly is. This is something I want to ask you guys for the comment section. Why are people constantly comparing AOT's ending to Code Geass, or just AOT in general? To me, when people compare Code Geass to AOT, the only thing I'm getting out of it is that they don't watch a lot of anime, which is totally fine. I'm not saying, like, you know, they're normies or anything like that. I'm not a gatekeeper. I don't really care. I just find that really interesting that people are bringing up Code Geass with AOT and not, you know, other anime to compare it to, because I don't know why people are comparing AOT to Code Geass. I would love to know, though. Adam here says, the Holocaust had probably a higher death toll, and the Holocaust pales compared to much bloodier communist genocides. That's not really the point that I made in that. When I brought up the Holocaust, I was using that as an example to say Holocausts are bad. And when you say Eren didn't go far enough in a Holocaust situation, in a genocide situation, where you eliminate 80% of the human race and probably, you know, even more life outside of that, and you tell me that he didn't go far enough, like, come on now. You can't really make that argument in good faith, in my opinion. So that was really my comparison. That's what I was trying to get across in my video. Nothing more than that. So last one I want to bring up here before we end the video, Riley Swan says, I agree with Armin, war will always happen, it's in our nature. And that's really the point of the ending in general. Like we discussed a little bit earlier, I want to nail down that I really like this idea that the ending AOT presents, that war will always happen and it will never change. I think a lot of people poo-poo that and say, oh, that's bad or whatever, but it's realistic. I mean, it's a message, you know, it's a message that everyone can relate to on some way, because war is not just war. War is in every single one of us in some ways. We all have our conflicts and we all get mad and want to, you know, lash out and start a war with somebody, you know, have battles and arguments and stuff. So I mean, it happens, and I think that is what makes AOT's ending really cool. So, and that's the end of the video. I want to thank you guys for coming out and watching this. This was a really fun exercise. I really enjoyed responding to your comments, and I appreciate how passionate every single one of you are for AOT and how you guys leave comments like that on my video. I really appreciate that, and I enjoy all types of comments, whether that be criticisms, concerns, people agreeing with me and just, you know, being excited about something, or even the complete opposite of that. This is why I make videos. This is what makes this fun. So I appreciate that. And that being said, if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe and ring the bell. Comment down below what are your thoughts on AOT's ending and some of these comments that I read out here. And as well, I love you all, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.